right, behind the headlines, as you all know, around this time, we go behind the headlines, going around all your social media platforms and go all in around your digital platforms to try to make sense of everything that has been breaking news and everything that has been making news. And most importantly, fresh reviews on all your headline stories. And I do not want my comments to be the one that is going to be crucified. Hence, I have my co-host with me, Xolile Mazibuko, joining us as we are going to be doing all things behind the headlines. Xoli, good evening and welcome to the news desk.
Good evening, KG. Thank you so much. Let's just jump straight into it. On my side, I have a story of a 21-year-old woman who was found with drugs in her stomach at the OR Tambo International Airport, and therefore she was arrested, for alleged drug trafficking. According to the police, the woman was profiled and then intercepted as she was arriving from a flight which was coming from Brazil. This was Sunday morning at the international airport. The police spokesperson, Brigadier Mata, says, the woman was then taken to the hospital, and that's where the X-ray actually confirmed that, the foreign objects in her stomachs were actually drugs. They were suspected to be cocaines. Those were like 110 bullets of cocaine found in this young woman's stomach. I would like to say, kudos to the South African Police Services and or Tambo International Airport. It's clear that they are doing their job, to combat the drug trafficking that's been happening all over the world. And KG, I would like to send a message to young people out there. I know that it's hard. I know that economically we're not doing so well as a country, but really, is it worth it? To risk your life? I mean, she's 21, and now she's about to be in jail for probably 10 to 20 years. You get a very serious sentence when you're found with drugs. And so early in her 20s, So kudos to the South African Police Services for the job well done. And to young people, please stay away from, trying to make money by trafficking drugs. It could have been worse. We know that in other countries, they actually get death sentences. I don't know, KJ, what's your take on this story?
My take on the story is that, we are looking at the fact that, this is not something that has been happening in South Africa, and I'm proud of the police that they were able to go and see this thing before it was something that this person was now bringing in drugs. And I've been reiterating the fact that police need to take charge in actually everything that is coming in and out of our country, because they're the ones responsible for the intelligence and making sure that we are safe and keeping this person in check before these drugs enters and harm more people and young people in South Africa. And some might say that there might have been the young people are going into drug smuggling because of there is a high rate of unemployment in our country, and they might be saying that we shouldn't blame them into that. But at what cost are we going to say that we are going to blame this unemployment as young people? Even in 2024, we are still having a conversation where young people can't find opportunities or work towards getting better opportunities for themselves without complaining about the government.
Absolutely. We can't run away from the fact that unemployment rate is very high. It is a big issue in our country, but it's really, really not worth it, because, I mean, she's 21, and if you get a 10-year sentence, I mean, that means she's going to spend all her energetic years in prison. But kudos to the South African Police Services, and it is said that this is the 11th arrest in 2 months. Clearly, we have a big problem. So I want the police to continue doing their job, and I hope the investigations go as deep as finding the people that actually send these young people to all these countries, making them to traffic drugs all over the world, them big money. We want the people behind this to be caught. I think if we can really get the people who are behind these ill doings, then we would have done our job as the country and as the South African Police Services as well. So yeah, what do you have on your side, KG?
Definitely interesting stories that we are tracking for you this evening. If you want to share your point of view, please make sure that you do use that comment section that is below there. You can be engaged in the conversation that we are having here as we go behind the headlines. Right, on my side, Oli, what I have is that early hours of this morning, we woke up to residents of Vleehof here in the south of Johannesburg, next to Soweto here, where we are seeing that protesting Vleehof residents shut down community after blocking all entry and exit points. This comes after they were protesting over the lack of schools, a clinic, a police station, and a community hall. I mean, Vleehof has been now a residential area that has been here for almost more than 5 years now, and they still don't have a police station. They still don't have a public hospital or a clinic, or they don't have a school around them. And this is what the protest was all about this early morning, as the Johannesburg Metropolis Department spokesperson Xolani Fihla says that the police were monitoring the situation this morning, making sure that, you know, the scene was safe for everyone as they were protesting. As you know, that South Africans have a right to protest, but to a safe and also lawful protest. As we all know, all these were happening there. In his statement, this is what he said, that the situation is calm at the moment and the traffic was flowing with no intimidate at the main Reef Road, but it is reported that all entrances at the exit of the Vleehof are closed off to traffic, and police officials are present monitoring the situation, and motorists are urged to exercise cautions and avoid closures in the Acacia Avenue and the Hampel Road. This was around 12:30 in the afternoon, as this was a report by Khomoto Modise by the EWN speaking about this, as I also was following the developments as I was listening through to the midday report on 702 with Mendy Wiener, as they were saying that this report, the situation calmed down at around 12:30, where since the early hours of the morning, people were still arguing. I don't know, we have been through a lot of votes, elections in our country, Toli, and we are celebrating 30 years of democracy as a country. And even in 2024, we are finding that there is still a residential area that is fighting for basic services that needs to be delivered to them. I don't know, what are your thoughts around it?
Yeah, I mean, I think when you develop a place or a town, how do town planners actually do this? Because it should make sense to have a clinic. It should make sense to have a school. Those are basic needs, right? Because I don't want to be traveling 30, 40 kilometers just for me to reach a hospital. How do town planners actually do this? I think one day we must get a town planner to come and explain to us, because honestly, and it's been 5 years. Also, if a school is far and I'm unemployed and I can't even pay for a school transport, then how are my kids going to get to school? So I hear their cry, and it's unfortunate that in South Africa it takes a protest for the government to actually hear people. So hopefully after this protest, the government will do some changes and provide the basic needs that the community is crying for in that area.
Definitely, Toli, because I'm also looking at the fact that, I live close to Vleehof. There is still transport challenges. You still cannot get a taxi that will take you to a Vleehof. There is still a lot of transport issues that you get, even with the Rea Vaya system that was installed there. There were still challenges around there, and I resonate with the challenges that these people are facing, and I hope that the government will definitely take accountability into this. And a comment here by slow_gem saying that I honestly think that our government will only pay attention when there is a protest. Definitely, and that is what is happening, and that is what we've allowed, that the government will only take charge when there is only a protest. Tulani Molefe saying that it's sad that we've come to that, and unfortunately it's sad that these are the basics indeed. Thank you so much for your comment there, Tulani, also saying the fact that, it's said that we've come to this point as a country that we need to protest in order for us to get these things that we have been promised. There's been manifestos that have been taken out year in, year out when we're supposed to be voting, but there is a lack of service delivery. We hope that the government will take a closer look into what is happening in the Vleehof community. Right, Oli, on your side, what else do you have?
Absolutely. now we're switching off gears. Pilani is supposed to join us on the X trend. Pilani, good evening.
Pilani is not yet in. Pilani will be joining
It's
us
not
a
yet
little
in.
bit later. I think we should move on to another story.
Okay, no problem. So now we're moving on to another story. KG, there's been some changes at the Home Affairs. So the Home Affairs Minister, Leon Schreiber, has announced a 5-year strategic vision to actually change the department into a full digital first department, meaning everything is going digital at the Department of Home Affairs. We know that Home Affairs has had many sad stories, many traumatic stories. So now that the new minister says, you know what, and during my 5-year term, I want to change everything and turn it into digital. Now this approach is called a Home Affairs at Home, meaning now that you can apply for your IDs, your passport, or any other certificates or any other documents, sitting at the comfort of your own home. The minister is also promising that they'll make sure that because we know that people can be a bit skeptical when it comes to online things and digital things, they'll make sure that the system is safe from all the hackers and all the fraudsters or anything that we can imagine that could happen, because exposing your things online can also be quite tricky, and not so many people are quite open to this. So the wonderful thing about this, he also says that, after applying for your IDs or any other document, now the documents get delivered right at your doorstep. So you don't have to go to Home Affairs and sit down there and queue for longer. So, but now the thing is, not everyone is welcoming to this change. But as we know, things must evolve. Technology is taking in. We must grow. We are a growing country as South Africa. But then people are not so welcoming to this idea. People are complaining about things like, what about those people in the rural areas who still have no access to the internet,
Definitely,
and
I was about to ask that.
yes, they're asking that, and people are also skeptical. But how safe is this thing? What have they done? What are they doing to make sure that the system is well fortified? So that it's impenetrable from fraudsters and hackers, because the worst could happen. But also, there's other people are saying no. There's a good side to this, because now it will combat the corruption that we see every day in the Home Affairs, because now you can do your own thing without anybody intervening. So it has a mixed emotions. But you know what? All I'm saying is, let's give the minister a chance and let's see if the system works. 5 years is a good time to see if this will work or it won't work. There are many advantages and disadvantages to everything. So let's welcome the minister's idea and see how far it takes us. But I think it will work so much. It will combat a lot and lots of corruption that always takes place at the Department of Home Affairs. I don't know. What do you think, KG?
Yeah, I'm thinking at the fact that it's high time that we've come to a point where now we are moving things digitally, but at the same time we should not only scrap the traditional way that we've been doing things, because now I'm thinking of people who who are in the rural areas, who are still within the digital divide that we are still experiencing as a country. But it is a great initiative, and I go with your sentiments in regards to saying that there is a 5 years is a long time for us to be able to manage this and to be able to safeguard that there is proper identification. And I think this will kind of reduce where people are now stealing identities and all that, because this can be a some point of us where we are trying to break the norms that the crimes that we have seen. And we all know that this month we are also celebrating cyber security awareness, and we'll be bringing the show a little bit later later this month, where we are going to be discussing all on that. But definitely people need to safeguard and also go digitally. Tulani Molefe says that, could that be the reason for Ramaphosa and Inlon's meeting, digitalization of our systems? Well, I am not sure about that as yet. I'm not sure if Cody has more details on that, but definitely, Cody, I think this is the right way for us to go as South Africa.
Yeah. Well, Tulani, we know that Elon is very big on digitalization and AI, so probably that could be, I think that could be, because I know that Elon Musk is very, very big on digitalization, technology, evolving. He's very big on those things, but we're not quite sure, but we will definitely find out what was the meeting about.
Definitely. Indeed. All right. Another story that I have on my side has to be definitely some good news on the business side of things. We know that petrol price is going to be decreasing as of midnight today, and a lot of South African motorists are going to be happy about this, the fact that petrol price is going to be decreasing. The Department of Petroleum and Mineral Resources has published the official fuel price adjustment that will kick off on Wednesday, the 2nd of October 2024, following a start of two recoveries at the beginning of September. A stabilizing global oil price and a stronger rand versus the dollar has a seizable cut for the price and diesel. As we all know that the prices are going down between 1 rand 6 cents and 1 rand 14 cents per liter of petrol, and also between 1 rand 12 cents and 1 rand 14 cents per liter for diesel. So these are the changes that are coming and that are seeing. But even though there might be some reactions early on the fact that the petrol price is decreasing, a lot of South Africans have been asking the question that the fact that yes, we are seeing that the petrol prices are decreasing. Yes, we are seeing that they are decreasing, but transport fares are not decreasing, and also the price of groceries and food are still on the high. People are still not affording. I don't know, what is your take around this decrease?
Absolutely. As a person who has used public transport for quite a long time, it's always the case that the petrol will decrease, but the prices will remain the same. And, inflation is still affecting us. I mean, the grocery food is way, way expensive. I think the government should look more into that. We are happy for the drivers because I understand how, petrol price can, affect them, but can they look overall into everything? Can they also look into the food pricing, public transport pricing and things like that? They must look at it, holistically. Other people say that. So I hope the government makes some changes, because we see this. It happens a lot. Petrol price is always decreasing, but what about the food prices? Something that is very, very important. I mean, everybody needs to eat. Not everybody drives, right?
Yeah, because we all know that these prices are the ones that are influencing even the prices of food and groceries. And now that they are decreasing,
Absolutely.
South Africans are calling on a call to saying that even the food prices needs to be affordable, because there's a lot that has been happening. And this reminds me of a conference that was happening in Sandton this afternoon, where President Cyril Ramaphosa was sharing out his remarks on the government and business partnership coming together, saying that they are trying to achieve the 3% GDP growth by the end of 2025. And he also alluded to some of these things. And economists are saying that this are looking into a point that it might look into a shifting of greater economic growth within South African reach, and making sure that there is affordable resources and affordable food prices for all South Africans, as this was out in the Sandton City, coming out there. President Cyril Ramaphosa signing the phase 2 of the cooperation deal with businesses that are partnering with the government, to ensuring that even though we are having this full price decrease, but how can we make sure that the full prices are getting to a point where they need to be at? I see comments here by slow underscore gem saying full and food should go hand in hand, and we are approaching the festive season, definitely, and people would want to be buying food at a reasonable prices. There is Black Friday coming in November, and you'll be seeing a lot of people rushing to the stores household going to buy food there. Tulani Molefe there saying that indeed 100 behaves like 100 rand behaves like 10 rand when it comes to buying food. You know, you can't even afford to buy yourself basic groceries, especially with the amount of money that are coming out there. But hopefully there will be a lot of economic engagements that are happening there within the South African region. Speaking of that, looking into the economy, let's take a look at how the JSE closed off this afternoon. Looking at the financial indicators, looking there, we saw that gold was trading at $2,669 dollars 45 cents an ounce. Looking there, that has an increase of 1.3% there. Looking also into the currencies, the rand was 17 rand 43 cents against the US dollar, 19 rand 25 cents against the euro, and then 23 rand 9 cents against the pound sterling. So there is a negative territory there where we are seeing against the dollar and the rand, and also but a positive increase that we are seeing of 0.0% and the pound sterling there. Right, we have come to the end of how we are going behind the headlines, making sure that we give you everything that you need to know, especially when it comes to breaking news and what we have been talking about on your news cyclone. Right now, we are going to shift focus and go into a story that we definitely have been talking about throughout the month of September. That is the two-pot system. Let's go behind, or rather, let's go in the lead.